All right, so we have reached the third station on this exploration together of how to fundamentally liberate yourself. So we spoke about the mind. We spoke about that the root of the mind is the heart, and that in order for us to really untether ourselves, to really, go for our highest truth, to awaken our full potential, we need to alchemize the things laying in the way. And one really important aspect of this is our fears, like fears. So this video is about how to release fear-based patterns. This is a big one. This is a big one. It's really important because unless we're conscious of this, our fears are running our life. So if you look really, really close underneath the actions that you're making in your days, why you say what you say, why you do what you do, often you find that there is actually coming from a place of fear. Because you're afraid that if you're not doing this, then you might re-experience something from the past, or like this thing will happen. Maybe that maybe you have a fear of being unworthy, or maybe a fear of not being loved, or a fear of being abandoned. Like there are things underneath the surface, fear of that that you're a failure, so on. It's like it's things, it's stories we have collected along our life, which is running us from underneath. So it's very important to just look at that. So either there's fear or there's desire. These are the two poles that is driving us. So either we try to avoid pain and discomfort, or we're trying to go towards pleasure. And so fear is a huge part. Fear is actually a belief in something that is not true, because fear is either laying in the past, it's something that we experienced before that we don't want to experience again, or we are afraid of something that happened in the future. So the past and the future, it's just illusion. So there's nothing else in this moment. Isn't it beautiful? This moment is the only moment that exists. Everything else is just a mental construct. All right. So we believe when fear is coming in, then there's this belief in something that is not reality. Unless it is a lion in the room, or something like this, then yes. But there is a different kind of fear. This is more like a psychological fear that we need to look at. So one aspect of this is to not first recognize that it's not true. Even if the mind is really active and it's really, it's really flaring up because of a fear inside, it's not true. So wisdom can set us free, and the wisdom is that I am not this character, I am not this person. I am pure consciousness. So to really come back to truth, that is wisdom. And there's also faith involved of like, yeah, there is something higher guiding me. So there, I am not alone. And I don't know what everyone, we have different sets of beliefs, and also that is some kind of belief system that we're into, but it can be a religious kind of faith, or it can be, a faith in the universe, or in life. But there is like a faith. But sometimes the fear is so, like, it's really capturing us so much. It's really making us shaky, you know. It's like it's very tricky to access that kind of wisdom. And those are the moments when we need to really go to the root of it. We really need to go down. And we talked about radical acceptance in the last video, and that is what we need to do. Like, we need to fully come to peace with the possibility that this particular scenario that we are afraid of can happen. Because I mean, it can happen. Things are happening. Sometimes it's very not logical that something will happen. That, for example, if you would write a Facebook post and maybe someone is not writing a vulnerable Facebook post because there's belief that if I do this, then I might end up in prison or something. Sometimes it's very illogical. But sometimes it's really like, things like, yeah, I don't know how to pay my rent this month, or maybe my partner will leave me. It's a possibility that he or she will leave at some point. It can be. And if we are not looking, if we are not accepting that possibility, if we are like looking away, like trying to avoid it, trying to like push it away, the fear, that fear is still driving us from underneath. So with the example with a partner might leaving us, if that fear is underneath the surface, if we are afraid of being abandoned again, like we were when we were a child from our parents, if we're afraid of that, and this scenario triggers that, there's something, maybe he says something and is acting in a certain way, and that triggers this fear. But you are not looking at the root of that. You are on the surface. You're in the mind, like you're in the mind, and you are in trying to fix it. Like you try to come up with what to say. Maybe you try to keep him at home because you don't want him to go to this work meeting or like work hangout or whatever. So if you are coming in trying to manipulate the situation, trying to fix the situation, trying to control the situation, then the fear is driving you, right? And the fear stays there. So another way of looking at it is that when we're afraid of the boogeyman in the closet, for example, like a child who is underneath the blanket and who is afraid of the boogeyman in the closet, who is not real. There is no boogeyman in the closet. There is, maybe there's some clothes there, but there is no boogeyman, right? But for the child, it's very, very real. You really believe in the fantasy that is real. And as long as you're not looking there, then when you cannot see that the boogeyman is not there, then it's very easy to believe in it. So in order to break free of the fear, we need to go to the root of it. So what that means is that what a parent would do probably is would turn on the light and open the closet. There is no boogeyman there. And then the child sees, there was no one there. Okay. And the child can relax. So that's what we need to do. We need to bring our light towards it. Not by trying to fix the external reality or like work on the surface, the symptoms, because that doesn't work. We need to work on the root. And that is to go to the root and fully accept the possibility that this particular thing can happen. Because yes, that's a truth. It could happen, but that's only one possibility out of infinite possibilities. But as long as we are driven by that fear, if you're contracted and like operating from this place, then subconsciously we are kind of giving energy towards that particular scenario. So what it means that we have actually, it's a bigger chance that this will happen if we are allowing the fear to be there unprocessed. If it's underneath the surface, we're kind of attracting that scenario. So in order to diffuse the fear, we need to go to the root of it. And that means to have radical acceptance and just accept the possibility that this might happen. And yes, I will be okay with that. So it's a big one. Some fears are really, really big and really entangle, so this takes work. And this can also be, a little bit confusing, but it's very, very powerful. So this is how we release fear-based patterns from the root. And another aspect of this is, we talked about trusting and surrendering. So basically surrender, the liberation of self, is about, surrendering our small, limited, separated self that is very, very limited, which is kind of run by our mind, to let go of that and allow something higher to come through. So what happens when we are surrendering, when we let go, then we are allowing God to work through us. So we are allowing the intelligence of life and our soul to do it for us. So that is what it means to live a surrendered life, to live for a higher calling. We are letting go of our small self to just be a channel for something higher. And all of you, I mean, we all have gifts. We all have unique soul gifts that we are here to offer the world. And it's like we have this inner calling, right? You have an inner calling. There is something more. There's something more to life. And in order for you to fully access that, you need to be willing to surrender. But what happens when you surrender, you notice that quite fast, that when you surrender, then fear starts to come up, and you realize that underneath the surface, you are afraid to death. So this is really, really deep. Now we're really, really deep. You're afraid to death. And what is that? It's not you, it's like that egoic construct of you. That personal self is afraid to death. And why is that? Because if you're letting go, if you're surrendering your patterns, if you are surrendering your small, limited self, that is the death to the ego. And what is the ego doing? The ego is using the only weapon that it has over you. It's using fear. So fear is a powerful weapon that the ego has, and it's basically the only one. So you can see that when you're about to expand, you're about to embark new territory in life, you get an opportunity like, to be a speaker somewhere, or to to sing on a wedding, or there's something happening, like it's about, like your soul is saying, like it's time for you to do this, to level up, to expand. So what happens then? The ego kicks in, and the fear is coming in, trying to block that expansion, because your ego is fighting for your limitations. And that is actually one of the reasons why we have the ego, is to protect us. But very often that protection is just it's like blocking us, it's blocking our truth. It's not helpful for our evolution. We are here to grow, we're here to evolve. Like, we are souls incarnating into these human bodies, and we are here to explore the world. We're here to express ourselves, our souls, uniqueness into the world. We're here to grow and expand. And if we are allowing the fear to stop us, we get stuck. We get stuck. And that is not a pleasant feeling. I mean, it's like this illusionary safety. Yes, like this comfort zone. Like, maybe we have this belief of that I'm not good enough, but it feels quite good, then we can always say, I'm not good enough. It's like we're kind of tricking ourselves that it's better for us to listen to that and to keep ourselves small than to to go beyond the fear and to do it anyway. And yeah, so this is a really powerful one. So the key here is resistance. Once again, what we resist persists. So if we're resisting, then we're kind of blocking the energy. We get stagnated. But when we are opening up, when we're going to the root of it, meeting it fully, then it can alchemize. And then suddenly, then it's gone. Then there's clarity. Clarity is coming back. Before, we were closing down, we were contracting because of the fear. Now we were connecting back to peace. We were accepting the worst case scenario. Even, I mean, some are really tricky to do, but it's work in progress, right? We were accepting. We involve faith, and we involve wisdom. What are we? What are we truly? And we are coming back to that. We're coming back to the present moment, and so these are some keys. But in essence, we need to be willing to sit in the fire of fear and allow it to burn. And it can actually be quite a beautiful process, you know, like we can actually learn to enjoy the process of liberation. And I feel that is an important one, like, because who knows how long time it will take to liberate us. What matters is, can I enjoy the process? Because we are here. The only moment is now. And when we learn to enjoy not only, you know, when we're open and flowy and all of that, but also the painful moments, the challenges, then we really, you know, then we really can make progress. And all of this, there's a bunch of keys, and I have a whole tool set with keys. A key, what's it called, like this ring with keys that we can use, that I would love to share with you, but I cannot do it right now. But now you get some kind of basics out of this, and yeah, at some point, you know, the more we liberate ourselves, the more we are merging with the truth of who we are. And that is what we will talk about in the fourth and final video of this series.